So I just watched this video that everybody's talking about Ginuwine not wanting to kiss the transgender woman. I feel like people blew this all out of proportion. Like I just watched the entire clip. I think this is like Big Brother UK or something like that. I'm guessing because they had a bunch of different celebrities on there. I mean, there was Courtney Act from RuPaul's Drag Race. She was on there. Ginuwine was on there. And some other people were on there. And it was just Ginuwine saying that because they were having to talk about transgender people, like dating transgender people, and masculinity being so fragile. And Ginuwine was just like, I just wouldn't. That's his personal choice that he didn't want to date somebody who was transgender, and that's fine. Nobody's going to force him to lay down and have sex or date anybody that he doesn't want to. And so to like further validate her point, the woman who was transgender, like it was like in a joking manner, tried to kiss Ginuwine. She was like, "Well, let's have a kiss," and then he was like, "No," and everybody was laughing, but she was like, "That basically like that proves my point." Blah blah blah, and that was the end of that. But everybody's just like making it so much more than what it actually is. You can't force nobody to go to date somebody, and you just like you can't force yourself on somebody. You can't kiss somebody. You can't just randomly. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have kissed that woman at all, whether it was a transgender woman or someone who was born as a woman and identifies as a woman. Like he doesn't know you. So I just feel like that whole thing that was fucking ridiculous. And something else that actually two more things I want to talk about. Um, H&M, H&M had a child on their website who was modeling a jacket. It was a hoodie, a green hoodie that said he was a black child, and the hoodie said "coolest monkey in the jungle." Like I feel like they could have went with so many other things. So many other things live in the jungle. It didn't have to be a monkey. And if it was a monkey, you could have just put it on a white child because we all know about the racial slurs that about when people call black people monkeys. So I mean, a lot has happened because of that. The Weeknd dropped them. He's no longer endorsing them. Nicki Minaj dropped them. Their stock has plummeted, so now they're going to be closing down stores and everything all in 24 hours. All this happened in 24 hours. So they're going to be closing down stores. The stock is plummeted. They lost two major endorsement deals, and now everything on their website is 80% off. And I really don't care for H&M like that. But it just so happens that last week, today's Tuesday, last Wednesday, I bought my brother a coat who looks a lot like the little boy in the ad. I bought him a coat from H&M Kids. But whoever, oh, I know that person, whoever was in charge of that, they ass will never work again. But anyway, I'm burning through this. Okay, last topic. Bruno Mars. Bruno Mars just came out with with a remix to his song Finesse that was on the 2K Gold or 24 karat gold album or whatever it was called, with Cardi B. And when I saw it, it was like, very reminiscent of Living Color and, the 90s and all of that stuff. Very much 90s black culture. And early on in Bruno's career, I kind of noticed something. Like when he came out with Doo-Wops and Hooligans, I was like, okay, who's this guy? Like this racially ambiguous guy that looks like he could be this or maybe he's that. And he has the pompadour hairstyle and he has, the tight suit on with the high water pants. And I was like, okay, I see what he's doing. Taking certain aspects from, way back when. And I was like, okay. And then his second album came out, where I was kind of like noticing a trend with him. I'm like, okay, I see what you did with Doo-Wops and Hooligans, and now I see what you're doing on your next album. And it's kind of like he's just reaching back in black culture history and black music history and snatching certain decades and running with it. And it's like, okay, that's cool to a certain extent. And I feel like if Bruno Mars was black, if Bruno Mars identified as a black man, he would not get the same amount of success as he does now because he does not identify as black. Something else. If somebody who was black did the exact same thing as Bruno Mars is doing now, they would not get the same amount of success as Bruno Mars. And that is evident in Janelle Monáe. Janelle Monáe came out with Tightrope right around the same time that Bruno Mars came out with Doo-Wops and Hooligans, when he came out with Grenade. Janelle Monáe, Bruno Mars wore the pompadour hairstyle with the high water pants and the tight tuxedo. Janelle Monáe came out with the pompadour hairstyle, the high water pants, and the tight tuxedo, which became a staple for her. That was kind of her style for a while. But Janelle Monáe did not receive the same amount of success as Bruno Mars. Janelle Monáe's song did not go as far as Bruno Mars' song. You couldn't go anywhere without hearing Grenade. So, that kind of furthers the point that Bruno Mars would not receive the same amount of success if he identified as a black man. Now, when he came out with his last album, this 24K, whatever it was, he pulled heavily from the 80s rap scene, because you could look at him and tell that the way he was dressed, the hairstyle, you know, the hat, the big bone chain, that was very much NWA. That was, except for, only thing about it, he wore red. NWA wore black. It was the exact same thing. And it's kind of like he gets away with it because he's always saying, oh, I love black culture, blah, 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 I'm paying homage. But I'm like, at what point in your career do you stop paying homage and then you start putting out original content? Because as of right now, it doesn't seem like you're putting out original content. It seems like you're just putting on a parody, or you're playing dress up. Because in 20 or 30 years, when they do a tribute to Bruno Mars, they're not going to be doing a tribute to Bruno Mars. They're going to be doing a tribute to everybody that Bruno Mars did a tribute to, because Bruno Mars does not have an identity outside of black culture. And it's weird because the way he's doing it, he's no different from an Iggy Azalea or a Miley Cyrus or a Justin Timberlake. It's the same exact thing. It's like, oh, he's not black, but he doing nigga shit. So it's more palatable to white people in mainstream media, which is why he's able to reach so much success. Because it's like nigga shit diet nigga shit. And in mainstream media, and white people and the vast majority of people are able to take this in. As opposed to another thing, when he came out with Uptown Funk, there was so much like a 70s disco vibe, like. And then not only that, but Trinidad James came out with basically the same song first, when he was like, "Don't believe me, just watch." But Trinidad James' career kind of ended after that. So it's kind of weird. And it just gets annoying after a while. It's like, okay, you're paying tribute. Pink said that, what is it? when you pay tribute to somebody after so long, it just gets annoying. Something like that, I'm paraphrasing, but that's kind of what she said. After you pay tribute you pay tribute so many times that after a certain while, it just becomes annoying. And we're kind of like, who is Bruno Mars at this point? Like, who is Bruno Mars? Not what culture does Bruno Mars like? Not what's more profitable for Bruno Mars. Who is Bruno Mars? Okay, so, and the last thing I want to say is, do y'all remember that episode of, what was it? Of Martin, when they were having a boxing match at Martin's house. Everybody was going to come to Martin's house and watch, and Martin left, and then Shanae came to the door, and she knocks on the door, and Pam comes to the door. That's kind of what I think about when I think of Bruno Mars bringing new music, or Bruno Mars always having his nose in black music and black culture. It's like, why are you always over here? Like, why are you always over here? You don't never bring shit. Why? I mean, you supposed to be Puerto Rican or Filipino or something like that. Can we hear some Puerto Rican or Filipino themed music? Can we hear something like that? Why does it always have to be black music that you're doing? Now, even if somebody was black that wanted to do something like 70s themed or 80s themed, they're not going to take the entire 80s and shove it onto a damn CD and then give it to you. They're going to take certain aspects from it and put it and try to make it innovative and just like revamp it, but not give you the same exact shit. So, I don't know. Like, I feel like he can sing, he can dance, that's evident. But you need to have an identity of your own. And that's kind of where I am with it. But anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. I know a lot of people like the song. I like Cardi B's verse. But yeah, that's just pretty much it. So y'all just let me know what y'all think.